Hi, you guys. Welcome back to episode number 6 of That's So Bro. Yashan, what are we talking about today?
We're going to be talking about a much serious topic. It's called depression.
That's so brewed with Amanda and Yoshan.
And we want to bring attention to anybody else who might be triggered by this topic. It might delve into something a bit sad. So if this is something that you find very hard to take, please feel free to watch one of our other episodes and maybe come back to this when you feel like it. Also, we are going to concentrate on how we've personally dealt with the depression in our lives, and this is our personal take on it. And if there are points that maybe you feel that you don't agree with, maybe start your own podcast and talk about that there. But today we're going to talk about our experiences. All right, Reshalees, how's it going?
Hi guys, I'm Reshalees. Nice to meet y'all.
Reshalees is back as per demand. All right. Reshalees, what is the definition of depression? Reshalees, as an inspiring psychologist.
Aspiring psychologist.
Aspiring psychologist. What is the definition of depression, please?
The definition of depression rather, according to the APA, which is the American Psychological Association's definition, is extreme feelings of sadness or despair over a prolonged period of time.
Right.
Which is usually sometimes 2 weeks or more.
Okay. The reason why we want to do this topic today was because I know that June is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, and men's mental health is a topic that is not too touched upon even today, even in media. It's everything else first and then comes to guys, and suicide led by depression rather is still the second biggest form or cause of death in men. So I think this is a very touching topic because we've all been through some form of depression whatsoever, and I'd rather it be destigmatized as opposed to it just being a taboo topic that, oh my god, yeah, I feel sad but I'm not supposed to talk about it. Resh is going to take us through some of the symptoms of depression. So we can start off with what exactly the people who seem to have depression might experience.
So guys, it's depressive mood. So it's depressive mood is feelings of sadness, loneliness, helplessness. So why people say, I think it's easy to misconstrue as well when people are like, oh, I'm depressed, because they focus on or they misconstrue what depression is and what depressed moods are.
Right.
Do you get what I mean? And so it's diminished interest, weight loss, insomnia, psychomotor retardation, that is lethargic movements. Their movements are very different.
Right.
Sometimes they are fatigued, so they can't get out of bed, they can't do the simplest tasks. They feel worthlessness, you sometimes contemplate death, and they have the inability to concentrate.
Is fatigue and laziness the same thing?
Yes. No. Well, fatigue is, sorry, it's an extreme version. Fatigue is an extreme version of laziness. Laziness, you can take yourself out of it. Right. Fatigue, I feel like, is a prolonged period of experiencing the inability to do anything.
Okay.
Tiredness.
That you can't overcome even if you wanted to. Okay. That being said, if somebody who's listening to this might be experiencing one or two or a couple of these things, who should they talk to, Reshalees?
You guys should
Shout to the mic, darling.
Okay, you guys, sorry. You guys should contact the National Institute of Mental Health, which is NIMH, on 1926, or the CCC line, which is 1333, or Sumitrayo on 2682535.
Even when you Google depression
Suicide.
or anything, the first thing Google says are those numbers.
Yeah.
Right. So it is available on Google. And if anybody is going through this, we very seriously recommend you talk to a professional.
Yeah.
And get some help.
And these services are free
Right.
and anonymous.
And anonymous. That being the most important thing.
Absolutely.
Right. That being said, Yashan, have you been through an episode of depression in your life?
I have, but I'm really not in that mindset to discuss about it. But yeah, I have been through some bad periods.
Okay.
And I don't know, somehow got through them. What about you, Amanda? Have you been?
Before you start on that, I feel like that is so important to talk about. I feel like the fact that he did acknowledge it and is choosing not to talk about it just means that it is so paramount, and it is something that people have experienced, and it is very deep.
Right.
And if you choose not to talk about it, I feel like that is completely valid. So thank you for shedding light on that aspect as well.
You're welcome. You're welcome to everyone. You're welcome, Takshi.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I think when I was just finishing school, I had this excessive need to become a pilot, and I was told by my parents, because we didn't have the financial capacity for it, that I couldn't do it. And I was doing a part-time job at our Barnes, and I had to make it a full-time job because I told my dad that, I'll finance it myself. Because I told them that I would finance it myself, and because this is the only job I had, the job I was doing, which was marketing, which is not such a bad job actually, to me was very depressive, because I had to watch, and that was the start of social media, because you're always on Facebook. So I watched my friends go to university in different countries, and they would constantly upload posts and stories about how they're living the life they want to live. Meanwhile, I was nowhere close to anywhere doing anything close to flying.
Oh my God, yes.
I had to reconvince myself, thinking, okay, so maybe I won't be the pilot I want to be. Maybe what I can do is, in about 30 or 40 years, maybe I can buy the plane and have the pilot then teach me. Which is a flying violation, because the pilot can't say, why do you take it now, sir? Here you go. So you can't do that either. And that is something I had to always convince myself to do. And you're working Monday to Saturday, and it's a lot of convincing you to do. I didn't like the work environment I was in. I didn't like a majority of the people I was working with. And that is the time that I got excessively into alcohol abuse and substance. I was smoking like a pack and a half a day.
What?
We would drink every day, if not every other day. And it was just one big blur of emotion, right? And it got to a point where, I don't know how true this statement is, but somewhere along the line, somebody told me that if when you're smoking, you feel like back pains, that means that the smoke has burned through your lung or some nonsense like that, right? And I was a very gullible boy, so I really truly believed that. So I would smoke until I would feel that pain. And I would hope that I would not wake up the next day. I would take a life insurance against my life and think that my parents and everybody else who was a part of my life would be much better off without me being in the picture. Maybe they can take the 1.5 million, it's so cheap, 1.5 million rupees that was guaranteed on my life, and maybe that would be better than me being alive, because I just really did not want to be alive, right? Back then, you were on a ship and you were just starting.
Your life is worth 1.5 million now, I know. You want a price on someone? 1.5 mil.
We said we won't make jokes on this episode, and here we are. All right.
It's good. It's good.
So, the saddest thing about that is, my brother was my closest friend. All right, because, my brother was my closest friend because you were on a ship. My other school friends were in school. Sorry, they were in university in different countries. So nobody was there. One was two were in UK, one was in Malaysia. He's on a ship somewhere. So Malay was the closest thing. So I had nobody to talk to. And what I would do is I would choose to drink away my problems, so I would forget the fact that I had to go back to work tomorrow at 8:30. So that was the entire point of it. But I also realized that to the point of overcoming it, you get to a point where your younger brother finds you drunk, all right? And he found me drunk in a really bad way, all right? And in essence, he saved my life that night. So I won't get too deeply into it. But if he didn't slap me, I wouldn't be. No, it's okay. I wouldn't be here talking about it.
Yeah.
So if anything, I owe that annoying man my life.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I also realized that there is... Okay, so this is the easy way out. All right? You call it quits. You take a loan against your life and you think, all right, maybe that'll be better off for it. I realize that there has to be something more. I can be an inspiration to this man who saved my life. And my parents have gone through too much shit for me to just call it quits here. And more than any of that, I realized that I have gone through too much shit in my life for this to be the ending. You know, like you can go to a cemetery and you see on that tombstone it says Mrs. Senivaratna, devout wife, loving mother, was a teacher, that's it, right? At that point I realized there has to be something more to life than just I did a 9 to 5 and I called it quits.
Yeah.
So that's what pushed me, that and David Goggins and Eric Thomas and all these people, that's what pushed me to actually to take a stand and to make a change, to stop this shit.
Yeah.
So this June on the 8th would be my 12th or 13th year of being sober.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. And so that was such a powerful thing to me, because in essence, something that brings so many people down, that people call a vice that they can't control, I was able to do it. So what happens is when you tell your friends that Mashan, today is the last day I'm going to drink. I'm not going to drink anymore. I'm not going to smoke anymore. The first thing they say, if they're terrible friends, is, ayo bro, just have one more with me and then tomorrow you can quit. You know, or they laugh at your face saying, you're never going to quit. Both which happened. Both which times I relapsed, I got back into it, I got myself out. It's a cycle. But the 8th of June, so many years ago, was the last time I had it. So when it comes to the symptoms you spoke about, right? Never wanting to go to sleep as well. So I don't know if that counts as insomnia. Yeah. And substance abuse was one of my highlights.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which is one thing I wanted to bring attention to. Yes, now in the current day, substance abuse should be added to this list, because I think people try to escape from this pain that they're feeling. So drinking, weed, or sometimes even cutting, because people try to alleviate it, but also encapsulate that pain through a physical means. So I think that's what I've heard of people saying. They feel so much pain that they exact pain on themselves to quantify it.
Right. Which is also interesting, because I think right now depression is an all-time high.
Yes, it's the most common.
Oh, is it?
It's the most common mental illness in the current day, and then anxiety and the rest follow.
Oh. That's also interesting, because I found out that in the States, substance abuse has actually overtaken alcoholism. So now there are more... The propensity for you to, we'll say even indulge in weed is now higher than alcoholics.
Yeah, and yes, I understand, like, this is kind of going off topic, but yes, I understand people say that weed and things are medicinal, but it's medicinal only to very few milligrams.
Right.
Apart from that, any kind of drug is bad.
Right.
Even though you say, oh, I'm just trying it for the first time, and I've studied this to say that yes, it is bad, and there's no need to indulge, or there's no need to say try it out because everyone else is doing it, because sometimes depending on a person's body chemistry, drugs can react differently.
Oh, okay.
So, and that could lead to psychological disorders.
You should get that on a t-shirt. There is no need for weed.
But I understand the hype, so to each their own.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on that, bro?
What if the person doesn't show those symptoms? Are they still going through depression, or do they have to show those symptoms that you mentioned?
So depression is a spectrum. So people, according to the symptoms, or there's this thing called the Major Depressive Disorder Diagnosis Criteria.
Sorry?
I know, it's the MDD. Okay, we're just
that should be on a t-shirt.
MDD. But it says when you go to a psychologist, they usually take these symptoms. If you have 2 to 4, then you're within the mild to moderate area.
Okay.
For a prolonged period. But then if you have over 4, so then it's more chronic. And it's chronic because it has lasted over 2 weeks.
Right.
and it's more severe. So when it debilitates you, by debilitating it means you can't do any type of work, you socially isolate yourself, you don't get out, and you just I'm just going to use this word loosely, rot.
Right.
And choosing to do so, then it becomes a disorder.
Okay. Does that mean that I have to go to a psychologist for me to actually be depressed? Or can I self-diagnose?
As a practitioner, please go seek help.
Right.
Because why would you rely on something that's online? Yes, there are online services, by all means, seek those. You might as well properly know, rather than just saying, oh yes, I had this because Google told me so.
When you have a heart attack, you know what? I'm dying. And call your wife, hey, I'm dying.
According to Google, I think my kidney's about to burst.
Yeah, but see, that is what's happening now, right? That's why there's so much misinformation. People think that because they have these certain feelings, that they have this disorder.
Right.
But behind these feelings, there are reasons, and there are thought patterns, and there are behaviors. And it is only when we take your history that we kind of understand the severity of the case.
Right.
So you diagnosing yourself,
Makes no
it makes no sense.
I recently had an episode where my stomach was paining.
Okay.
I Googled it.
What?
And Google was like, yeah, you have, liver failure, pancreatitis or whatever.
And you're like...
And I was like, yeah, I'm going to die. It was like 3 a.m. And my wife, by the way, is a medical profession.
Right.
So I didn't want to wake her up, but I was in a lot of pain, and I was taking like gas meds and all. I was finally, because of the pain and I was struggling, she woke up and she's like, what's wrong with you? And I'm like, I have a pain. As per Google, I'm going to lose something. My life probably.
Oh no.
She looks at me and is like, yeah, you look like you're dying. She didn't even panic. She's so calm in that situation. I was like freaking out. I thought I was going to die. It was a bloody story. Okay. Google didn't even tell that it was a story. It wasn't even in the list of possible...
See what I mean? Google misses out. Go seek help.
Pow. Google has saved my ass in so many situations.
Oh yeah.
I wouldn't say in a medical situation.
I forgot. What was I going to talk? Google AI. Google AI is really winning the case.
I've never used Google AI, so...
Oh, really?
I have to use it.
Google AI also recommends if you're upset to jump off a bridge.
Oh
yeah, I saw that.
Guys.
I saw that.
There's a little trigger warning right here.
I saw that.
Please contact NIMH, please.
I saw that. It's like, I'm feeling really sad. What should I do? And then Google's like, hey, why don't you go? It gives the directions also.
It gives you the directions.
Turn here, and then you reach the Golden Gate Bridge, stand on the edge, and...
This is so bro. This is
Google
bro.
AI is so bro.
I saw it. I saw that clip on the internet also. I don't know if it's made up though.
No. I think it's a real thing because a lot of sources seem to be saying that Google AI seems to be like...
Oh my god. Okay, but coming back to the serious topic. Sorry to be the one, but yes, we're talking about suicide, yes?
Right.
So you mentioned this in your story, how there were multiple attempts and it was in one night, and the feeling you felt in that one night was very intense, right?
No. There were multiple times where I wish I would.
You wished you would die.
Yeah, I would expire overnight.
Mm-hmm. Sorry.
It's just that it would get I would start feeling it more when I got back home, and I think that was because I was reminded that I had to go back to work the next day.
Yeah.
That was the depressing part. It's not that it came and went one day. It's just that for a long, maybe like...
It was prolonged.
Yeah, for
hence
a long
why.
time, yeah.
But when I'm talking about suicidality, I guess these intense feelings, or when we talk about them, we talk about a concentration of these emotions felt. Obviously, yes, there is a plan and all of these things,
Right.
but when it comes to the peak of those feelings, it lasts for a period of time.
Right.
In the instant there is someone, a protective factor, that mitigation of suicide can be done. It can be mitigated. That person can be saved.
So what you're saying is basically if somebody was
So
to
like your
contemplate-
brother was there, but
Oh right.
that is one case. But if there was someone to talk to someone, hence why those suicide helplines are there, right?
Right.
So in those intense feelings, when you feel like it's just
Do or die.
yes, but and there have been stories. There have been stories that my teachers and professors and I have researched have shown that after those intense feelings, the next day they're just like, I want to live. They've found their purpose.
Right.
So it is a few moments of sincere hopelessness, and I would say nihilism even, that if you can stay with them, it can be overcome.
Interesting. So you said you went through an episode, right? How did you cope or get over that episode? Have you gotten over it?
I have had a few episodes, so some of the episodes I have.
Okay.
What happened was during school time I was into sports.
Right.
I focused all my time on sports. I didn't do anything much. After school activities were the things that I focused on,
Right.
like clubs, hanging out with people, making connections with this other kids, you know.
With the girls?
Girls, guys, I didn't discriminate. I mean, I don't know what she's thinking about.
Goddamn, okay.
I'm friends with everyone. I'm friends with
See,
everyone.
Reshale has a very innocent way of saying I'm friends with everyone. Reshale goes straight to the gutter, man.
She needs some soon. Satish, where are you? We need a timestamp. Yeah, so because of the whole sports thing, I tend to overcome these feelings that I had.
Right.
And I had great friends back then, you know. We used to hang out all the time, play, do all sorts of shit. But as I grew up, that friend circle reduced. My ability to do the sports also went away because I started focusing on other things. And then I started finding other ways to overcome it, like watching stuff on the internet about these things, learning about it, and being self-aware, understanding that I am depressed. But I never took the step of meeting a professional
Right.
because of the stigma behind it. I mean, in
Right.
Sri Lanka, going to a therapist means it's like,
Yeah.
going to a whorehouse.
Right.
I'm serious.
But I think that is such a valid point,
That's a
though.
great bloody point.
That
man.
is that is so valid.
Like all the
I
artists.
think you can go to a whole house with a bit more pride.
Yeah, actually,
yeah.
you can
at
go
least your
to-
buddies will be like, "Yo, that's
Yeah.
great."
If you go to a therapist place, even your buddies will be like, what the hell? And your aunties will be like, Anna, to pisu.
Not again.
At least if I go to a whorehouse, I get laid at least.
Right.
Yeah. Whorehouse aside, as I grew up, I found other ways of finding myself through it, reading about it, understanding it, watching movies and TV series that are related to this, where the main character is going through these things and seeing how they overcome it.
Okay.
Understanding that I wasn't alone helped a lot.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And
Yeah.
I had a friend who was working with Sumitra.
Okay.
So she kind of spoke to me whenever I felt this negative feeling. And she kind of opened a perspective, a new way of looking at it. As she said, that moment of hopelessness,
Right.
just get through that. And the next day you feel much better. So I had a few friends here and there. But again, it depends from person to person how you can overcome. I guess you would have had other ways of overcoming.
My thing, bro, was I felt very alone. Right. I have never felt so lonely in my life.
Like you'll be with a group of friends and still feel alone.
I would be with everybody in office
Yeah, I
and
know.
still feel alone.
I know
would
that.
go and drink with my friends and still feel alone.
I understand that.
Yeah, and I would come back home and be reminded that I actually am very much alone. That nobody cares about you.
The sentence is, if you disappear right now, would
No,
anyone give
yeah.
a ass?
Yeah.
That's the sentence.
And I realized that nobody would, right? I felt that even in work, I was terrible. Obviously, I was terrible, dude. I was drunk half the time. I was smoking the other half the time. Obviously, I was shitting all over the workplace.
I, of course, use the toilet.
Right. I used the workplace. 25, 26. Hey, something, take notes. All right. So my issue was, considering the fact that I was terrible at work anyway and I was not getting anywhere, my heart was never in it. So why would I take it seriously?
Yeah.
And it was constantly reminded me that I had no outs, right? That there's nobody I can go to with my problems. My mom doesn't care, my dad doesn't care, or it's not that they don't care, it's just that they can't help me. Because I burned that bridge. I said, you save money for monthly, all right? So I can't go back and say, hey, I was joking. Yeah. Give me that money back, right?
Do you think your mom doesn't care, or your mom would have overreacted?
That's actually a great point. I think if in brown culture you tell your mom, I'm feeling suicidal, it won't be, okay, do you want to talk about it? It'll be, oh, no, darling!
Because I know what my mom would do. She will freak out. First, she'll call the temple.
Oh, okay.
She'll book one of those things where the demon dancer, katta. She'll buy all the lemon in the supermarket and not make a lemon juice. Yeah. Then she will actually be pissed off at me and scold me for even And then my dad in the other side will be like, yeah, he's a Buddha. Agree to whatever my mom says. Yeah, so I think approaching to parents of that generation, because they didn't have this mental health thing, awareness, depression wasn't a thing spoken about. Back then, going to a therapist is worse than whole house, I think.
Yeah. I don't think, maybe psychiatry or psychologist was a profession that was profound back then. Yeah. But it wasn't as advertised as it is now.
But that is because of popular culture. Because of globalization, the ideas of mental health and mental illness has spread.
Right.
Yes, it is there, but it's still a stigma in Sri Lanka, even though we're having this conversation.
Back then, the only therapy you can get is in the Kopi Kade.
How so?
Because all the uncles are there playing checkers. I'll be like, me, ඊරේ ගෑණි මට ගැහුවනේ. අයියෝ ගැහුවද අයියෝ. But that's not how you play checkers, that's carom.
Oh.
Sorry.
Well, that's my ignorance.
Checkers is...
I've never played checkers, man. I love carom. They play carom. In my Kopika, they play carom. They were eating bananas, they were drinking plain tea, and they were playing carom.
Yes.
And there were no chicks.
There were no chicks.
Just the dudes.
It's a no
Except
girl.
for the Thay
no girls
auntie.
club.
She like gives
They Archie.
Archie,
She's
yeah.
listening to everything. She's the therapist.
She's a therapist.
But no confidentiality.
I should tell everybody.
Yeah, now she has that thing where she has to be secret. No?
Yeah, confidential.
She's the loudspeaker.
Really good, huh?
Well, I've thought about this a lot. Clearly. A lot of free time.
Coming back to it, I think what I went through was the fact that I realized that there was nobody for me. And when I first got into even working out, which is one of the first steps I took to overcome this, there were two people I really wanted to be like. One was Bruce Lee, master of everything in the world.
How's it going with him?
He's all right. No?
He's all right. Huh?
He's actually a new with Kevin Hart, I think.
I think so.
Yeah. The second Bruce was Bruce Wayne.
I can't say anything.
Yoshan doesn't like Batman, dude. Yoshan
What?
hates Batman. Yoshan's like he likes Thor or something like that. Yeah, exactly.
I puked in my mouth.
So I was a big Batman fan because even in his life he had to pull himself out. Yes, Alfred was there and all that is true, but if he didn't go the extra mile, which I think is why a lot of guys truly fall in love with Batman, the idea of Batman. It is that he's the most mortal superhero out there. And he's still one of the biggest threats, if not the biggest threat. So to me, it was always about either impressing the two Bruces or being like the two Bruces. Yeah. So I had to willfully pull myself out of the almost abyss I was in. So to me, it wasn't the fact that I had someone to talk to. It was the fact that I realized that I had to be better than what I was and not take the easy way out. And to me, that was very empowering too. Again, because what some people refuse to give up almost is that one being is okay now was something I had to really fight hard against. And something I had to pull myself out of, even though there were people to give me another beer and shove another cigarette into my hand.
I have a question.
Hit me.
Am I one of the friends who gave you the beer?
No, I don't.
It feels like
I don't
that.
think so much. I think when you were in your drinking phase, I was done with my drinking phase.
Oh, am I late bloomer?
Nothing wrong
What a
with
shame.
Boomer.
What a shame.
But I want to say, like, that is so important for people to hear and listen, because even in therapy, yes, your psychologist is there to help you. We give you the tools, but
Right.
the rest is up to you, for you to do what is needed for you to do your homework. So we give you little homeworks and stuff like that to do,
Yeah,
depending
that'll
on.
make people want to come. Hey, we give you homework. Come.
No, as in
Pay
like.
me money.
Remember
and
school?
Let me judge you. Give you homework and you pay me.
Guys, what I mean that.
Yes,
what
Reshalees. This is a great ad for you to go. Get some therapy, get some homework. Yeah.
No, but what I mean is.
Reshalees will fix your mind. It's okay.
Guys.
Talk about your homework.
No, but see, you have to help yourself. No one else can help you if you don't help yourself.
I said that in every buffet.
Right.
Right, exactly. So we give you the tools and we give you the guidelines, but see, you wanted to get yourself out of there.
Right.
It is what you just described, what both of you all described is how it actually happens. So there are these things called core beliefs,
Okay.
right? Core beliefs are basically what you think. So I'm worthless, I am lonely, I will never find friends. And these beliefs become negative automatic thoughts. So if something slightly unfortunate happens, you immediately switch to, this is my life is useless,
I deserve nothing better than this.
I deserve nothing better, no one's there for me, no one's going to love me.
Right.
So these become, there's like this triad, right? We don't know which one comes first, but emotions usually influence thoughts and thoughts influence behaviors, and then it becomes a cycle. So your emotion of being, I'm sad, I'm worthless, becomes the thought.
Right.
No one is going to find any worth in me, no one's going to be there for me.
Right.
And then social isolation happens and you don't make an effort to change your patterns, so then it becomes a cycle.
You make that your personality out.
Exactly.
Right.
So that what happens in therapy is that we restructure your thoughts. It's cognitive restructuring.
Right.
So we take that debilitating thought and we challenge it. We ask, why do you think that? And then usually the person comes to an understanding of, I don't know why. I don't know why I think that. I don't know, maybe because someone told me this. And then
Okay.
we start breaking it down. But see,
Sounds like brainwash with extra steps.
With homework.
With homework.
guys, you're taking.
We are talking about a very serious thing.
It's a very serious thing. Please, I'm being an idiot. I'm being a total idiot.
No, but see, it's because you wanted to seek help
Right.
that you changed your narrative. It's because you wanted to learn more about what you were going through in your own ways. You Googled it, you watched the movies, you sought healthy friends.
They've all
It's
gymming.
both an active part on what your own individual
Right.
mechanisms of coping, which is really helpful.
It's on you, basically.
It is.
Okay.
So-
Yes.
Look at it.
Yes, people around you have to help. They're called protective factors. They boost your process
Okay.
of getting better. Yeah.
Yeah, this is not to add worth to this conversation, but you may get very pissed off. But we were thinking of merchandising. Can you repeat the core beliefs, that the 3 things you said? Because that will make a great T-shirt.
Emotions lead
Emotions,
to thoughts.
behavior.
No.
Emotions lead
I
to
have no
thought.
friends. What was that? I have no friends. I'm worthless. What the 3 things you said?
Yes, and then social isolation.
Yeah, that should be a T-shirt.
Which is why I watched That So Bro. Da, 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 da.
Go to
Fantastic.
therapy.
If you want the merchandise T-shirt, let us know. We'll send it right to your house.
Please just drop us a DM on our IGs. Their IGs, not mine.
You have IG?
I have IG?
Wow, free therapist on IG.
No.
Let me bring it this way. What if one of your friends was going through depression, right? Because that I was saying is something that we realize our friends might be going through, but we don't know how to address it properly. Personal experience wise, how would you, Yoshan Pereira, sort that situation?
Growing up, I did a very bad thing.
Okay.
A friend of mine kept saying that he was sad, he was miserable, I came from this culture where rub dirt. I said it in the last podcast, just walk it off. And I was like, just walk it off. What the hell? He's like, I'm sad. For what? He doesn't even know what he's sad about.
Right.
So I used to be like, walk it off. You have a roof, you have food, you have water. What are you sad about?
Right.
Right? And one day he started talking about unaliving himself.
Oh, okay.
At that point, I didn't understand, that this is depression. This is a real thing. It's a mental condition. I didn't understand. I just thought this guy was just acting out to get attention. A lot of people mistake it for that.
Right.
Because I didn't know what it was. So I kind of made fun of the whole thing, which I'm very regretful now. I wish I never did it.
Okay.
Then after some time, he and we kind of had a falling out. But he came back. We spoke.
God. Oh, I thought after we had a falling out and after that he fell out something and I was like, here we go. And that's the episode. That's so, bro. Thanks so much for watching.
No, he came back. He went abroad because he was not functioning. Like he was having a very severe case of depression. They had to send him abroad to get the treatment.
Right.
He came back and I apologized to him because by then when he came back, I understood what it was.
Right.
I had a better idea of what I did wrong. And I explained to him that I was sorry and he understood immediately.
Right.
And he told me his experience, the whole fixing yourself, homework, even though I made fun of it, it's a real thing.
Right.
And all that. And now he's a functioning adult. He's working, he's doing great. But whenever he feels like he's going back to that, he always lets us know, okay, I'm going back there.
Okay.
Do you want to, have a chat? And even though we meet, we don't really talk about his issues. We just talk like that's so bro stuff.
Right.
We laugh, and then he's like, bro, thanks, I feel better. And we go our separate ways.
Right.
But the thing is, I really regretted that as a kid, I must have been like 15 or 16 when that happened. It still haunts me, like that I made fun of that. I made fun of the fact that he was sad. And I really regret it. But as I grew up and I found out when someone was like, oh, I'm sad, I'm this thing, I would be more empathetic.
Right.
Right? I'd be like, bro, you're sad, let's go, let's have a chat. Because that's all I can do.
Yeah.
There's nothing else I can do. I don't have her knowledge. What I can do is we can take something random, we can laugh about it, go to the movies, laugh about that. That's as much as help that I can give you.
Right.
Have a meal maybe.
Yeah.
But if you want more than that, then you have to find someone who is equipped to help you in that way.
Yeah.
That's what I feel. So as a friend, that's all I can do. And sorry.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay.
Memories. Yeah, so that's all I can do. And I feel that if I can do more, I'll try. But I feel like that's all I can do. What about you? What would you?
I think, man, you basically summed it up. I don't think it is in my place to try and advise. And I also don't think that, so if I was where I was back then, I don't think I was looking for advice. What I was looking for was for anybody to help me forget the fact that I felt this way. So I think what you were doing is perfectly fine. I think maybe I'd do the same thing. I would maybe try to push the person or take the person to therapy.
Yeah.
I didn't know about therapy.
I'm
back then.
I'm not saying that you did something wrong. By all means, the fact that you actually found this guy out and apologized and that you're who you are right now.
It haunted me a lot.
Yeah, that's much better than what I can do right now.
Yeah.
I can say, just by saying that, you're a much bigger human being than I am right now.
In every way, I'm bigger.
No, but accountability.
Yeah.
That is the biggest thing.
My account's all empty.
Okay, Yashan.
If anyone wants to hire Yashan, please.
What I'm trying to say.
Buy our merchandise.
Buy our depressed merchandise, yes. What I'm trying to say is, I don't think there's anything more than what you said I can do or I should do. I don't think providing or trying to be the guy who gives solutions to somebody who says that they're upset and they feel a certain way is what that person is looking for.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I feel like when your friends come up to you, being there and enjoying their company is what they need. Like just presence.
Right.
Is
Maybe even if you start giving solutions saying, oh, Masha, so now you feel this way, maybe we should do this and we'll do this and do this.
I feel like there is a
I
possibility.
think that just gets annoying after a while.
Or a possibility for them to shut you out.
Yeah, because you're just another voice then.
Yeah.
Right. Fair enough. But then, how about this? So now, I know for a fact that there's a clear-cut difference between me talking to Yashan as a bro, right? Saying, Washan, okay, so like Yoshan taking me out to watch a movie,
Yeah.
versus say hypothetically, say between the two parts. So say Yoshan's wife was depressed or Yoshan was depressed. What do you think the partner should do?
Right. So from personal experiences,
Right.
so me being the partner to a depressed person.
She had a partner.
Tea.
Spilling.
Yes, sometimes I think as the partner, you feel like it is all up to you to save this person or to be the safe space for this person. Yes, you are the safe space, but sometimes you need to give them room for themselves to feel whatever they're feeling.
Right.
And usually, isolation happens. But in those moments of isolation, understand it is very important for the partner who's experiencing their other partner go through this episode that it's not their fault.
Okay.
I feel usually there's a lot of internalizing that happens.
I am the reason
I
she is
am the
depressed.
reason they can't talk to me. Why can't they talk to me? I am their partner. They
Right.
should be able to talk to me
That's a good
about
point.
these things, right? But understanding that it is their process,
Right.
that is one thing. But also,
And also, husbands, you tend not to speak about it.
I think that is a thing. I think guys just don't want to talk about it, even to their partners.
Yeah.
Which I don't know. Maybe it's even creating a safe space. It still is something it's hard for guys.
I can tell you that because we both went to a men's circle,
Okay.
and even if we were assured a safe space
Yeah.
and told that nothing from this space will be spoken outside, we found it very hard to be out loud and proud. Okay, so this is my problem.
Yeah.
Random bunch of strangers who might never have any influence on my life whatsoever. I don't feel safe about talking about this thing. So what I'll do is, instead of talking about the real problem, I'll just talk about like either a smaller problem or a make-believe problem.
Yeah.
And just test the waters and see how it goes.
That.
There's
or,
a theory that I have why the guy doesn't tell the wife that it's not actually a theory, something that I've heard in another podcast. The man sees himself as the provider.
Yeah.
He shouldn't be a burden to his wife and kids.
Right.
He doesn't need to tell his wife, dude, I'm not feeling well, because the wife is again. I could be wrong, but in the general context, in a stereotypical marriage, the guy has to be the backbone, right? The foundation. If your foundation is collapsing, if your foundation is breaking, and he comes and tells you, like, assuming you're my wife, I'm like, I'm not feeling great. Then the wife is going to feel uncomfortable, right? Because the wife cannot help. She's not equipped to help.
Right.
So that's why the guy tends to shut it off,
Right.
not tell her anything, try to fix it by himself, try to, mold the clay in such a way that he can keep being the foundation. So the wife, the kids, everyone's happy, they're dependent. But then it can backfire. That's what I feel.
I also heard another podcast where either it was a podcast or a lady who used to write for counseling, and she used to mainly talk about the women's aspect of it, where for one of her book signings, a gentleman came across and said, it's very convenient for you that you're talking about this side only. And she asked why, and he said, my wife and daughters would rather die than watch me fall from the horse.
Yes.
Than catch me. They would rather die, watch me on that horse, on that white horse, than catch me when I fall. And I think that actually brings us to our next point, which is the fact that guys and girls, they deal with depression in different ways, right? So like we were talking about right now, it is always the facade that I am completely fine. You are supposed to be, like he said, the rock. You are the foundation. You cannot falter even if you are dying on the inside.
Even if you're not married, even if you're still a son, to your parents, you have to be that rock. I mean, I know it's not a written law, but
it's a feeling.
Yeah.
It's a feeling. It's a responsibility as a man.
Yeah.
It's in your 1,000 years of genetical whatever.
Yeah.
So it's in your body. Okay, mom, I'm sad, but I'm not going to tell. I'm going to be, mom, don't worry, I got it.
Yeah.
Dad, don't worry, I got it.
Even if you're breaking on the inside,
Yeah.
you show that pretty face.
And that's what backfires.
Yeah.
That really backfires. That sometimes you can't really take it. And then you just...
Yeah.
I mean, and again, jumping in the point that this is again about men's mental health.
Yeah.
If you watch a majority of the videos where they say, Shib,
Yes.
Come on.
It's the
Come on, right? Sorry, guys, it's raining. If you watch a majority of the videos that showcase the fact that these people unlike themselves, they show videos of like 2 hours before, 1 week before, a couple of minutes before actually should happen, and they're over the moon. They're playing with their kids, they're running around, they're laughing their asses off, and then you get the sadness. For example, Robin Williams, right, one of the world's most prominent comics. Nobody saw it coming, right? Chester Bennington, the lead singer of Linkin Park. There is a 2 hour before he actually finished himself off.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
And he's fine.
Yeah.
Or they appear fine.
Yeah.
They say that before they do the task, they start to feel really happy and relaxed because they found a way out. Like there's a theory there.
Oh wow! Right. It's a
Because
solution.
They found the solution. They just need to pull the trigger, so they start becoming. It's a sign if someone's really, again, this is I don't know if it's true.
Right.
Again, from what I've seen on the internet, they can be depressed for a really long period. They'll be silent. They won't talk, and then suddenly, they become very happy.
Like a manic happiness.
Probably, and
Yeah.
they are like super happy. They're very jovial. They give their stuff away. You know, they're like out of this world, and actually, it's because they understood this is what they need to do,
Right.
and they're going to do it. And they feel like when they do it, it's going to be happiness. You know, it's the end
It's
of my
done.
problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's the thing that I've read on the internet. I don't know what.
I think there are obviously different types of people, but yes, manic happiness happens, and then there is a possibility for them to unalive themselves. But also, one thing in therapy that we start learning, or we ask our clients when they come to us and they tell us, yes, I was about to do this, we ask them about their plan, if they had a plan. And depending on how detailed the plan is, then we understand how severe the case is.
Right.
And then we inform people close to them, and we keep a watch on them.
Right.
So yeah, suicide, it's more complicated than just someone just deciding, waking up one day and just deciding to do this.
It's a plan.
There are certain plans made, and I think that is one thing that I want to add. Like, even as a partner, you need to be very direct with your questions. You can't be afraid. You need to show assurance in yourself, knowing that you can, like, you got them.
Okay.
And I think that's what we do as counselors as well. We're told not to beat about the bush when it comes to really severe cases, because you have to be very direct with them
Right.
in terms of, like, when it comes to suicide, at least.
Well,
Yeah.
Wow. And also another reason, going back to the topic about spouses, husband and wife, you know, the husband tends not to open up, is in his life, especially as guys, when we tell a problem, it's always thrown back at us.
right.
And when your wife or your partner does it to you, it's the worst.
Yeah.
It's the worst. So that's another reason why guys tend to.
It's a fear.
It's not a fear. Like let's say, okay, you say something, I'm sad, something. And then during an argument, you know, she brings it up. I remember that day you were sad, and throws it back at you.
That's why you're probably such a failure, because you
Yeah,
said,
yeah,
okay,
something
right.
like that. So then when something is thrown back at you, when you said something with so much confidence, you know, something that's supposed to support you, and at that point it can break you. And usually when guys break, it's
It's
Hard
very
to put
break.
together.
yeah, it's a permanent thing. It's
Yeah.
not something that repairs, and that thing plays in your head over and over again. So that's another reason why guys like to
Closer.
Keep to them.
safe. But then again, it's a bad thing.
It's a bad thing.
Please talk to people.
Please call. What's the number? 1962.
No, 1926.
1926.
and
And 1333.
just Google it.
But also, like, what I want to say is, for partners, that you become an integral role in terms of being a protective factor. And please I don't want y'all to take this to heart and be like, I have to be the savior. No, you don't have to be the savior. You just need to help them, as in just be an added factor. So when you see symptoms like cutting and certain things like that, you need to ask them about these
So I was expecting you trying to say a joke. Sorry.
I have a joke, but I have a joke, but
Say.
nah, my wife doesn't go to the kitchen to cut, so it's fine. You made me say it.
It's a hypothetical. 1926.
But be aware and then accompany them to therapy.
Therapy, right?
Be around them, but you don't have to be like in their face. Just be.
She. I want to be in her face.
And I think praise for the smallest of tasks is very important because they feel like they are goalless.
Right.
But when they do something, say one day they made lunch for you, it's a big achievement and you should celebrate it
Right.
with them and praise them for it to reinforce that behavior, because then they know, oh my god, I did something good
Okay.
for the day. And just hearing them out.
I think that is where guys and girls differ. I don't think guys are the type to actually talk about it. Like Yoshan said, we'd rather close up and climb. Even if, and I know this to be a fact, that even if guys want to open up, it's generally with a beer or some sort of drink, so that even if you open up and you said
I
something,
was drunk.
You are
I was
inebriated,
drunk.
right?
I'm
And
sorry.
That's why it slipped. I never meant to say it. I would never say it otherwise. It's just that this vice got the best of me, which is why I revealed this very, very important fact to you. Whereas I think girls deal with the whole thing a bit different. I think you'll talk about emotions a bit more.
Because I think we create a safe circle. At least it doesn't have to be a circle. It just has to be one person. And you put all that trust into one person and you can entrust them to take it. Like, I don't know, it's just easy. Once you trust someone so much, like a girlfriend, you can just be like, I feel this so bad. And then they'll just listen.
Right.
Isn't
And-
this the girl she keeps telling us about?
That's the one.
This is Sherry. Sherry's my angel. I love her.
Sherry plug in, alright.
Sherry plug in anywhere.
Alright.
But I also watched this thing quite recently, and it's about a depressed boy. And he says he meets these friends. He's from Tokyo, and he goes to like a different place.
You're
But
very
then he
good at
meets
storytelling.
But then he meets
This
his
story
friends.
is gonna take a while, right?
He meets his
She
friends from
likes-
Tokyo. Okay, but then he says, I want to unalive myself.
Right.
And then there's a moment of silence. And then they all start laughing.
Okay.
I feel like guys don't know how to deal with deep things.
That's I know one thing that guys know how to deal with. That's a bro.
Alright.
I think the joke went over Resha's head.
I know. I definitely understood it.
Now when I think about it, there's two.
But yeah, what are your thoughts on it? They laughed because I felt like they didn't understand. They were like, "Oh, you're joking, bro," or they couldn't deal with.
I don't
Such a
think,
deep emotion.
I think one of the main defense mechanisms for guys is humor.
Yeah,
I think
which is great. Humor's a great mechanism.
Fantastic. Which is why earlier when we got to the more serious part of this, we had to crack a joke.
Absolutely.
Right. I also think, unlike girls, we don't really talk about too many things. So when the most heaviest of topics are dropped on us, for example, life and death, we don't emotionally know how to take that unless you're really mature. And you've had these chats before with other people.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I've told you, 3 a.m. chats. I know you sleep at that time.
Yeah, I sleep at.
But when a bunch of guys go on trips and we hang out and we are by the pool, by a barbecue fire and all,
Car park.
around 2:30. Yeah, even in the car park, man, I've had some really big revelations from my friends. Around 2:33, people start, I think it's because they're sleepy, they start, it's like, I don't know, man, so much emotion. That's the time when I'm like,
But
damn, I didn't expect that from you, kind of a feeling. But I've had some really hard conversations, really hard conversations during those times.
why does it take time for guys to open up?
Trust issues.
Yeah.
I think like you said, man, we're always taken as a joke. If you try to say something to a group as opposed to being, that was a TikTok. All right, there were 3 or 4 levels of you hugging a friend. All right, so one is just the clap, one is a clap and the shoulder, which is a bit closer. One's a clap to the shoulder and the back. All right, and one is the full on bro hug. I think until you are comfortable enough with another man to hug to that extent, I don't think a part of you really trusts people because they're so used to, at least from where I came, so used to people just stabbing you in the back and just laughing at you and just none of it is just taken serious. Maybe I had a terrible group of friends, but from where I came from, it is very hard to trust people. So because of that, I would, like he said, I would much rather keep it to myself, and it would take a huge amount of trust. You stayed with me from 8:30 to 2 o'clock in the morning. That's a lot of trust right there.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't take trips with people you don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You won't go to whatever is open, Pilaus, I guess, at like 2 o'clock in the morning or 3 o'clock in the morning and eat something. Just talk, bro. This is how I really feel. I'm having a situation like this. Maybe it is at that time or when somebody's drunk that you say, Hari, I have a situation like this. Maybe that is the point of doing a podcast like this. You can destigmatize. It doesn't have to be a 2 a.m. chat or a 3 a.m. chat. It can literally be, bro, I need to talk to you. And you'll just hang out. You can go have a cup of coffee.
With humor thrown in.
Yes, absolutely. With self-defense. Sorry, with humor is a defense mechanism every once in a while. I'm feeling like I want to kill myself because of homework or some nonsense like that or whatever it is. I think it has to get to an extreme almost for guys to feel completely comfortable with their bros in order to divulge information.
But in those cases of, like you just mentioned, I feel like offing myself because of homework. What should guys do? Are guys usually alert when things like that happen? Because I feel like women, we take things seriously like that. Because then we ask, we check in.
Right.
Like, to add on to your point, I feel like women, because we're emotional beings, we understand emotions to a more deeper level.
Right.
And so when a woman comes and tells us, like, girl, I'm feeling, I can't do this. Like, I can't do this. Then we're like, oh, this is serious.
Right. Y'all would listen.
Right, but we recognize.
I also notice most women, instead of having a girl circle, they have big guy circles. Why is that?
Bruh, we're going off topic.
I'm saying that if women's circles are so great, why is this?
Reshalees?
It's how they were brought. It's who they choose to associate with.
So, I mean, apparently
It's a
with boys are
personal
terrible.
preference. No, but it's a personal preference. To each their own. Some people who have been brought up with a lot of brothers or had male influence choose to have friends who are guys.
Okay.
And they just feel comfortable around them. Doesn't mean that they don't want women in their life. I'm pretty sure they do, but they just have more guy friends.
None of them has brothers, that's why.
Yasha wants you to say it. Girls are terrible to talk about. My thing again is, I think when girls talk to other girls, you'll listen.
Yeah.
It's a big lesson. So I think when guys talk to guys, it's okay, problem solution.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then, again, I haven't been for a 2 a.m. conversation in a long time, or maybe ever. So I wouldn't really know how to say it.
Yeah.
When you had your 2 a.m. conversations, what was it like?
It's, first of all, you learn things about people that you never expected. Like, it's crazy what I have found out.
Such as?
I am not saying.
Such as?
Girl dish.
Such as.
No. Then the thing is, we don't really give solutions.
Okay.
It's just, hey man, this happened to me, this happened, then I did this, and oh man, that sucks. Okay, here's a cup of tea, here's a biscuit. And then we go to the next guy, and the next guy is like, bro, that similar thing happened to me. Sometimes he breaks down, and then he's like, man, I'm feeling this, I'm feeling that, this happened, then that happened to me, and then we're like, damn, that's I'm sorry, man, that you're going through that. Once in a way, we'll get a guy who's very chatty and be like, bro, maybe you should do this, maybe you should. But it's very rare.
Right.
It's usually just guys like, oh, shit, man, I heard you, man. That's terrible. And it's very, usually not everyone stays for that. It's very few, like 2 or 3 guys. Like, you go out with 10 guys, the other 8 guys are too drunk to talk. The other guys are with their chicks or whatever. You get the 2-3 guys who will be there.
Right.
And they'll be like, bro, how are you? And then the guy, I don't know, he starts like, it's like verbal diarrhea, man. This happened. And I'm very encouraging. I'm like, yeah, tell me more, because I want him to let it out.
Right.
And then at the end of it, I'll be like, because I can't give a solution. Because some problems are really, really
Yeah.
When you say problems is worse than the A-level paper.
There's nothing worse than that. Love.
So all I can do is really put my hand on his shoulder and be like, bro, you know what? I think it's going to get better from here. Should
am
get
here
better.
for
It should get better from here.
Reassurance.
Yeah. And let me say cheers, have another drink maybe. 4 o'clock pool swim.
Yoshi, can I ask you a question?
Is it multiple choice?
Here we go now.
Is it multiple choice?
No, but have you been on that receiving end? Like, you told your pain,
Yes,
your
I have.
story.
Yes, I
How
have.
did you feel
It's,
when they said those things to you?
it feels good. It's a nice feeling, and also it feels like a weight off your shoulders.
Oh, yeah?
Like you feel like you're like, and then you
So when they say
Wait, is Yoshan on the receiving end?
he's receiving end of the
like
friends.
I'm telling the stuff.
So
of,
he is the one with the problem.
Oh,
and
yeah.
he's telling his friends.
so I'll be like, this happened to me, and the guys
Right.
will be like, ah, damn.
Yeah, I want to know when guys say, "Ah, damn," like
That's
it's
good
gonna
enough.
get better.
That sounds great.
I think we just want to be heard.
Yeah. I don't want them to be like, this is how you fix it. This is how you fix
So,
it.
Mashan, the problem you have seems to be very simple. I don't know why it's such a big problem. I would have solved the problem.
You dumb
If it was-
idiot.
if it was
When I was grade 5, I had that problem.
this is like grade 2 stuff, like basically what you do.
Satish can fix it with his eyes closed.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, Satish is our fact check boy today.
Nothing is factored. You're the comments.
Yay, Sati!
Yeah. So you were saying something about something which I interrupted.
Yeah, because I wanted to know when guys say like, "Yo, man, I hear you," or like, "It's gonna get better." I wanted to know how you guys feel.
It's very rare that we get validated, so it's a nice feeling.
Validation then. Validation from men or from women as well?
Man,
From anyone, any human.
strictly from men.
Yeah.
I think again it's a very personal take.
Yeah.
If I was to tell you a problem, I know that you whatever I say, Rashi would take very seriously. And I say, oh my God, you're so accepted and heard here. Thank you. Please tell me more. Oh, that is so brave of you to say. And I love you for it. I love you for it. But then if I talk to you about, I saw a puppy down the road, Rash, oh my God, that is such a beautiful thing. Where is the puppy? How old is the puppy? What does it look like? What's the situation? I
Want to get in the story. Like, drop
I have
that
the best
tea.
example. Remember when your dad got sick?
Yes.
You called me and you're like, hey man, my dad's sick.
Right.
I'm like, that sucks. So I cut the line.
Right.
I was hanging out with our close personal friend Geshika
Right.
and my wife.
Shout out to Geshe and wife.
And my wife was like, who was that? I was like, Amanda. What happened? His dad's sick. What does he have? I don't know. Is he in the hospital? I don't know. Can we do something for him? His dad is sick. I mean, nothing much we can do about it.
And were you okay with that? You're like, oh, it's fine.
I just had to tell him.
Yeah,
okay.
he just told me because we had plans and he's like, dude, I can't come. My dad's sick. I was like, that's fine.
I see.
Acknowledgement. All we need is acknowledgement.
Wow.
I mean, if he needed something, he'd tell me, dude, I need food.
Bro, I need specifically this thing and that thing. Oh yeah, bro.
You know, they were pissed at me and I had to call you back again. And I'm like, dude, there's a lot of questions here. This dude's like, what? What do you want to know? Is your dad in hospital? No. Not in hospital. What's the next question, please? It was a long phone call.
Girls just want to know the deeds, okay?
That's because of their gossips.
No, we're just concerned.
Coming back to this, I think my entire take on depression
Yeah.
is the fact that it's on you. You are depressed, maybe because of an outside situation, but if you let your depression prolong more than what it's supposed to, your scientific 2 weeks,
Yeah.
if you let it live longer than it's supposed to, you give it more power, right? If you build an entire personality around, oh, I'm so depressed, my entire thing is depression, oh, and you start joking about the fact that you're depressed, you are essentially feeding that emotion
Yeah.
that is going to bring you down.
Yeah.
Even if you go to a psychologist or a psychiatrist, whatever medicine and homework they give you, you have to do. It's on you.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if you don't save yourself from yourself, nobody's going to save you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. 100%.
And I think both of y'all are case in point to that. Both of y'all sought help. You changed your patterns. You educated yourself on your problem. I think you have to be the
Look, man.
author of your story.
Yeah. My thing was, so again, coming back
But
to...
sometimes you may need help.
Absolutely. But if you don't take the step to call a friend or go seek
Or go
therapy,
seek help.
nothing's going to help you. My entire gimmick back then was I still am very huge into superheroes.
Yeah.
Right? But then if you find yourself in a scenario where all your superheroes are dead, who's going to come and save you? It's yourself. You have to save yourself.
Absolutely.
So if any of this is supposed to work, you have to be the master of your own ship, and you have to take charge and say, from this moment, I choose not to let this debilitate my life anymore, and I'm going to do what it takes to change. One of the things that really helped me change was to create so my entire issue was the fact that I hated everything about myself.
Right.
I brought it upon myself. Then years so I was working at Bounce, and there was a gym at Independence Square called Olympic House or Bank Hill. Bank Hill Wellness was still in the gym. That was the first gym I had been to. Right, it's a very nice gym, and it was right next to Independence grounds. No, Independence Square. That's right, Independence Square. What I would do is I would get ready at 5 o'clock in the morning. I used to go to gym by 6. Gym was on the way to work, so I had no excuse not to go to gym.
Yeah.
Go to gym, work out, and go as hard as I possibly could back then. I would do my cardio and my strength training in one shot, get ready, and then go to work. That would set me in the best of moods, because scientifically, it would essentially raise my dopamine levels and oxytocin and serotonin and all that. So I was anyway in a great mood, all right? Because I was in a great mood, I was no longer drinking and smoking. Whatever brain fog I had and whatever used to hold me back was now flushed out of my system.
Yeah.
And then I used to get Ambi to pack me this big bowl of, it was to be like that big, bro, all right? And it used to be full of milk and oats and fruit and dates. And I used to whack that all. So basically my desk, you couldn't see what I was doing, right? So it was like a wall here,
Right.
and I could see what everybody else was doing, because mine was all the way in the back.
Okay.
And in a corner like this. So if you just take the laptop and just like tilt it here, you can't see this. I used to watch something. I used to watch Bleach or something, and I'd just eat in the morning until about 9 o'clock when the AC switch on. I'm like, all right, let's start work now. But I think creating a routine like that is one of the most foundational things that helped me change.
To keep your mind occupied.
To keep my mind occupied and to focus on something more positive.
Yeah.
I mean, gym is, you feel great. It's a feel-good chemical. Even though you
Absolutely.
start looking great later, I don't know anybody who comes out of a really good gym workout and says, oh, I wish I didn't go to gym today.
No,
Yeah.
no one says that.
Exactly.
There's a I forget the dude's name. He said that,
Joe Rogan.
was it Joe Rogan? If you go to the gym and even if you walk on the treadmill for 5 minutes and you come out, you still feel good. No one has ever come to the gym like, I wasted my time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
unless
absolutely.
you pulled your back or something happened in gym.
Yeah.
And even then you're like, oh yeah, bro, just pull my back. Oh, like, I can still lift, and you come back to the next day.
Yeah.
And for those of y'all who are starting, this is again out of topic, who are starting to thinking about going to gym, it is better to go to the gym and half-ass it than staying at home and zero-assing yourself.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Yeah,
That should be on a shirt. That's so bro.
that is so bro.
it is better. Like, that's the motto that's driving me to gym now.
Good boy.
I'm so proud of you. Amazing.
I'm like at
change.
least half-assing it. Then I mean I'm 100% assing it. You have said.
Yeah, absolutely.
so.
He is.
Yeah.
I can vouch for that.
Okay.
She saw me today.
Yes.
The second thing that really helped me was my biggest issue, like you said, was isolation. All right, nobody's there for me, whatever. But then also, I was an introvert, so I wouldn't really go and talk to people, right? Unless I used to have this thing where I used to drink for confidence. It's beer glasses, not beer glasses, but
Beer goggles.
No, not beer goggles. That's the wrong word. I used to get my confidence from the can. It helps me think like a man, right? That's Jack Johnson.
With a plan.
No, that was Jack Johnson. I used to only be able to talk and socialize after a drink, right? Then I felt like I wasn't myself, so I can't go and talk. So it was in Independence Square, there's always a wave of motion. People are always running this way. So what I used to force myself to do was to run the complete opposite way. And I used to force myself to just say good morning, all right? Just say good morning and just keep running, all right? To at least, it started with 10 people and I pushed it to 40 people a day. Where you just say good morning and walk. Whether they acknowledge you and then give like that look, or
Because
they
you're
say,
running in the opposite direction, man.
like lunatic in the bicycle lane also. Whether they say good morning back or there is no reply, either was a win.
Yeah.
I just had to get myself to do something that was very uncomfortable for me, And I think that was one of the biggest things that helped me push myself out of my comfort zone. And that is what got me into communication in the first place.
Amazing.
I was able to push myself to come into terms with my fears of conversation in general.
Yeah.
That was one more thing. And the second thing, or the third thing that really helped me to pull myself out of the depression, especially getting out of drinking, was to cut my drinking circle out. It's not that they were terrible people, but I realized at one point it's not a progressive group of people for me to hang out with,
Absolutely.
at least right now.
Yeah.
Because I know right now, even if we all go for a drink, even if I first say no, later onwards I will say,
Yeah,
"What
why
time of night
not?"
is one?" It's
Yeah,
okay.
one sip, then
Yeah.
it goes. Yeah.
So I had to completely cut that circle out.
Absolutely.
It's not that I despise them or disdain them or think they were terrible.
It just wasn't beneficial for your growth.
It just made no sense.
I'm still here.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Our drinking circles never matched. You know what I'm saying? I have passed, and then Yoshan just joined the ship. So I think that's that. What about you?
I couldn't agree more. So all the things you mentioned are things that we work with our clients and things like that. So setting goals,
Right.
coming up with a routine. Routine is very important, especially for people who feel debilitated. When they have a structure to their day, then they know how their day is supposed to flow.
Right.
And then when they're able to tick off the little things is when they feel accomplished and more motivated to do things. But also discipline is also incorporated. When motivation fails, discipline is there. So that, as well as in therapy, you will, especially for the mild cases of depression, when you practice mindfulness, what mindfulness basically is paying attention on purpose in the present moment, non-judgmentally. What that means is that you have to be present. So for depression, you usually fixate on the past. So being mindful it's you forcing yourself to be present in your moment right now, feeling the sensations around you. And even when thoughts arise, what they mean by non-judgmentally is when thoughts arise, you let it pass.
Right.
And of course, this takes practice, but it is not impossible. So once this is incorporated into your routine, it's very beneficial to the person to understand their problems, their feelings, and facts.
Right.
So it's easy for them to differentiate. And then, of course, journaling helps a lot because you can reflect on your thoughts.
Maybe if somebody's also starting out journaling
Yeah.
for the first time.
Yes.
And they're watching this right now.
Yeah.
What advice would you give them how to journal?
That is amazing. That is an
Thank you.
amazing question because
Thank
no
you.
one really knows. And I
Fantastic.
feel like it all depends on the individual, how it works. But what I would suggest is that first write what you are feeling right now. All the thoughts.
Right now, I feel cold because the AC is coming right down to me.
Right.
Right.
But also right now I feel like today when I spoke to the lady in the morning, I felt like I didn't give her my all, or I feel like I'm not really a good person because I didn't help this person get off the bus or whatever. And then the spiral starts
Terrible
from
person,
there.
huh?
You didn't help her after
Wow,
that?
Reshalees, I was watching
but
that. You guys,
see.
Reshalees is out.
I can't believe
Reshalees wants you to pay so that you can help
you
yourself.
better write that in your journal 10 times. I will help someone fall off the bus.
No, but see,
Fall
when
off the
you
bus.
write all what you're feeling, you identify what your emotions are. Emotions are defined by singular words like sadness, happiness, excitement.
So you should just start putting thought to paper without judging yourself.
Thought to paper, just regurgitate.
Right.
Then you do this part called challenge. You just write a heading, challenge. Then you
Reshalees
start
writing already.
looking. You start looking at your problems as if you're advising your friend.
Okay.
Or switch it. You just mentally switch it.
Right.
Perhaps, yes, I didn't help that person on the bus, but tomorrow I can do better.
Right.
I'm going to be kind to myself that, yes, I didn't do this, but I'm still working on myself. And you force yourself, this is you forcing yourself to see things in a much lighter light. I'm not going to
Lighter
say
weight wise or lighter light?
lighter light
Lighter
wise.
Light.
I'm not going to say positive because people are going to be like toxic positivity and things like that.
What is toxic positivity?
When you're overly positive about every single thing, apparently.
Don't we know someone like that?
I'm not toxic positive. I'm just a very
There
happy
is
person.
no such thing as it's
No, it is a buzzword, but I feel like people take things for granted when they see things like happiness.
That's
but
because they're depressed. And if you're depressed, you should call 1926.
Yeah, but I feel like everyone has a chance at happiness. It's
You
not that
choose
it's
not to be happy.
Yes, it is perspective.
Right.
And it is hard. It takes challenging yourself to see and change perspective.
Right.
But it is not impossible. And that's why therapy is such a massive help, because they teach you how to do it. You're not just expected to figure things out. You're taught things.
Right.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. So, anything else to add to this, Samantha?
Oh, well, I guess.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, thanks.
Hi, welcome to the Reshalees show. Now, why I am focusing so much on therapy is because I feel like
She needs to make an income.
that, but also I feel like this is the.
Guys, thanks so much for watching today's show.
Satish is over here just losing his mind. But I feel like they have the answers, as in they have the tools to help you. And yes, you can seek your friends and have that. Doesn't mean just because you have friends doesn't mean you don't have to go see a therapist, or just because you see a therapist doesn't mean you abandon your friends.
Right.
It's not black and white. You can have best of both worlds.
I think the main thing I would like to talk or to encapsulate or highlight in what you said was the fact that you had to be kind to yourself.
Yeah.
That is something we never do.
No.
We would rather judge ourselves and call ourselves a piece of shit.
Absolutely.
And listen to everyone else's opinions of you,
Yeah.
as opposed to you thinking you're a human being too.
You know why that happens? I don't know. Again, this is a theory.
No, tell.
I would rather call myself a piece of shit than hear it from someone else. So when someone else calls me a piece of shit, I'm like, haha, I already called myself that. You're too late. And it doesn't hurt as much when he calls me a piece of shit. Right now, on social media, we have uploaded some jokes and stand-up stuff. Yeah, it's comedy, but there are people who have commented, dude, you know, you're black, you're fat, you're bald. These are things I've told myself as a kid. So now when someone else says it to me,
You're on her.
yeah, and
Uh-huh.
like people say you're unfunny, your jokes are lame. These are things I keep saying it to myself. You know, this joke could be not funny.
Right.
It could not work. It may work. It may not work. So when someone else goes like, yeah, not funny, and I've already heard it, and I thank the bugger for, you know, spending time.
I believe that's a here and there thing, Michelle. I've heard this saying where you should never talk ill of yourself because the inner samurai is always listening.
Yeah, that's also true. What you're saying is also true. I'm saying the reason why people do it, it's also because of that.
I think the approach you're taking is a very Marcus Aurelius point of view, where so he would every day in the morning think of what would go wrong, and then he would expect it. So the same way you expect people to come and give some sort of backlash, so it doesn't affect you as much as it should.
Yeah.
But then I as much as I would like to take it, I would always think of it as, so my favorite car is the SL-SMG. If I bought myself a brand new car and I got some dirt on it, I'm not going to ask the dirt, why did you get on it? And why you here and not back here? I would just wipe it off.
Yeah.
Right? That's the same way I take any sort of, that's the same way I take any way of hate, man. Come back with what you want. That's the same way I take any form of hate. Right?
You wipe them?
Just completely, you block
Clean
them.
slate.
Not
Block them.
Yeah, you block them and delete that comment.
Oh man, I thank them and I encourage them.
I don't, because I know it's coming from a place of hurt, because
Yeah.
nobody above you, right? Nobody who's doing better than you will ever bring you down.
Yeah.
Because they know what it's like to go through what you went through.
That's the caption you shared recently.
Alex Omosi.
Michael Jordan will never make fun of someone who's bad at basketball. You had a very nice quote. You shared it recently in one of your...
Alex Omosi's called.
Yeah, I forget the whole thing.
Yeah.
So,
Bring it down or share it now?
we'll share it at the
Yeah,
end.
share it at the end.
Satish,
Follow
fact check
my
boy.
social medias.
Fact check boy, please get the quote.
My story from yesterday or day before.
All right.
Wow, Satish is a jump today. Yay, Satish.
Yes, Satish, go Satish.
So I very strongly believe that nobody who is above you or who is doing better than you would want to bring you down.
Yeah.
Right? It's either somebody who's either on par or below. Even the people who are on par with you generally come and help you out.
Yeah.
The people, it's always the person who's below. There was a story my brother said, and I don't know how Sri Lankan it is to do it and say this, but his story was, so he's a chef, right? So apparently in an international cook-off where they invite every country to come and make a secret dish for that day. The dish for the day for this particular cook-off was, well, at least the recipe had to do something with frogs.
Okay.
So you had to get live frogs and cook them in a special way.
Okay.
A special way to you, but the ingredient had to be frogs.
Frogs.
So the board of judges would go from country to country and group of chefs to group of chefs and ask, okay, so what are you planning to do? What is so special about these frogs? So they say, so these are Argentinian bullfrogs. These are the Amazonian tree frogs. The colors here and the way they jump actually made their limbs either more tender or more stronger. It is all these factors. So they would go from country to country and country. And they finally came to the Sri Lankan tent. All right. And our chefs were there. And a very peculiar thing about our container of frogs was that the lid was left open. So one of the boards asked, you do realize that this is open, right? And they're like, oh yeah, don't worry about it. It's like, but then your frogs get away. And if your frogs get away, then you lose. It's like, our frogs will never get away. And he asked, how are you so sure? He said, these are Sri Lankan frogs. The thing with Sri Lankan frogs is, every time one frog tries to rise, the other frog pulls him back down.
Oh my god.
So I don't know if that's just stereotypical Sri Lankan thing, or if that's a brown culture thing, or if that's just a person thing.
Yeah.
But I do know that generally the people that come and throw hate on you, if you really look at their accounts, it's more likely than not, it's a fake account. So they don't even have the balls to come and just say shit to you through their actual accounts. And it's usually people who are going through something that's so depressive in their life and so saddening that the only way they can form some sort of happiness is if they come and try to bring you down to their level. So that I consider a stain on my brand new car.
Yeah.
I don't ask questions. I don't ask much on, there's a reason why you said this, bro. Do you want to be friends and talk about it? There's a way if you want to talk.
Yeah.
You just wipe that shit right off. I don't acknowledge that. I don't want the inner samurai to actually even go close to that. You just wipe that shit off.
I just thanked them so that they had to watch my video again. I think I said in the
They have
last
to come back
podcast.
to
You
see
know
your
what? That's
reply.
actually so much better.
It's like I don't block them. I thank them. I say like, wow, I didn't realize I was bald, but thank
Hey,
you.
why don't check? I still have some hair here. Check this side.
But I feel like that is what it is, right? Self-esteem. Self-esteem is so important to have because I feel like one of the contributors to even depression, because of your low self-esteem, you feel like you're not worth it.
Right.
So I feel like you have to build up yourself, and building up, how to build up self-esteem, no one knows. I mean, you do know, but if everyone feels like, oh, it's a lot of effort, it's not that impossible. Start by finding good friends.
Yeah, I think I very strongly believe that if you're in a group of 9 smokers, you will become the 10th smoker.
Yeah.
If you associate 5 millionaires, billionaires, you'll at least end being a millionaire. I think your friends really form your habits.
I mean, I'm going to gym now.
Yeah.
Win. All right, and finally to that, it is also the fact that in your life when you grow up, you're always taught no. No. Don't put your finger in the socket. Don't drink your father's liquor.
Yeah.
And it's no in the
Damn
most no in the most innocent of sense. But then I read a statistic somewhere where it says when you're the age of 12 or 15, you've heard the word yes only 7,000 or 6,000 times, and you heard the word no maybe 15, 20,000 times. So you're more likely to hear the word no and believe in negative self-esteem. One of the things that really helped me back then was positive affirmations. And that is something I still very much do.
Amazing. I missed that one.
Yeah, confidence, and very specifically, the best part about affirmations is you can choose what exactly you're lacking. So
Yeah.
if you need confidence, you literally YouTube confidence affirmations.
Yeah, absolutely.
And what you do is, like, you believe yourself to be a sponge, and you let, at first when they say these things, I am superior in this ways, I'm better, or I am as equal as everybody else in the room, if not better. Everything good that is supposed to come to me will come to me, and I do deserve it. The first time you listen to it, or to the first 100 times you listen to it, you think this is absolute garbage. This is absolute nonsense. I don't even know why I'm listening. But the 101th time,
Yes.
some might say 101st, I say 101th. The 101th time, you listen to it, a part of you chooses to accept it.
Yeah.
then you start accepting the rest of it. Maybe I am as great as people believe. And I also heard in Joe Rogan's podcast somebody saying, I think he was a comedian, he said, you're not as, and this is so if you go overboard, you're not as great as everybody says you are, but you're also not as bad as you think you are.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it really sets the mood, because you are, and I think that would apply more to girls than guys, because ladies, y'all just, every time I see a girl's post, it is 30,000 comments of girls
Yeah.
saying, yes, queen.
Absolutely.
It is the most mundane post, bro.
It's
But
big
I will also say that I am almost envious of that support, because guys very rarely get. Satish will, Yosham will.
I'll start commenting.
Thanks, Yosham.
What do you want? Yes, queen.
Yes,
Yes,
queen.
queen.
Yes, king.
Good, I'm not changing.
I don't know. That's the
Satish,
thing.
yes, queen. From now on, every single of a month is post.
All right. But then to normalize it, I think you have to bring yourself back into neutral, where it's not a compliment nor an insult that gets to you.
Yeah.
You're there to do a job, right? So that is one way of keeping yourself in check. But the affirmations part of it should help if you're way down here
Yeah.
to at least bring you up here.
Yeah.
Because the second you start listening and letting these selves into you is when you start making better judgments for yourself. I don't want to do this because I know it will bring myself down.
Absolutely.
And that is in itself a kindness to yourself.
I feel like that is something that I'm learning from you, because I think, because
Follow me out.
I think I said something randomly and then you caught me and you're like, no, don't let yourself hear that. And I was like, oh, yeah. And then I started doing it to other people and challenging them and be like, stop saying that about yourself. No, you're not.
Right.
So it creates a chain reaction, and it's such a beautiful movement, I would say. Yeah, building up self-esteem, and like, I understand us saying these things. It just seems like, yeah, these guys have been through it, so like whatever, right? But like,
We had nobody to start with.
yeah, and what I want you guys to take away from is that it's not impossible. Like, these are stories of possibility.
And
Like-
if we can. Anybody
of
can,
course, yeah.
Right? Yosh, what is your biggest take to conclude this episode?
My biggest take is call those phone numbers.
Right.
Don't feel bad if you are in this bad position.
Right.
There's a way out. There's always a way out. It's not the end of the world.
Right.
You can fix things. Everything is fixable. I mean, it's not that you're broken, but
With
you know,
gradual help.
yeah, and homework, things will get better. Things will always get better if you want it to get better.
Yeah. I mean, touching up on that point, there is that Japanese problem. There's a Japanese
The goal thing.
The
Practice.
kintsugi. Yeah, kintsugi is basically
When
it's
the-
better that you're broken.
I have a plate at home.
Oh, really?
No way. So
That's
explain
really
it to.
So
Okay.
when the plate or some ceramic breaks, then they use gold. Like they put it back into the mold and they put gold into the cracks and they fix it back.
Right, and now it's more valuable.
It's more valuable.
right. So
And of course, I know how people will tend to misinterpret what he said, that, yeah, you can get better and things like that. People will be like, stop saying that, everyone says that. No, what he's trying to say is, it is possible, is what he's saying.
That's exactly what I was trying to say.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And why I'm saying this is because I know there are people in the comments waiting to be like, people say that it's going to get better. It's
Please
gonna get
comment.
Better.
Don't stop commenting because she said that. Please comment it. We like those comments.
Yosh, I will heart your comment and say that.
I will heart and I will reply.
Yeah, Rush, what's your biggest take?
That I want to touch on this. You mentioned this, that you rebound with depression.
Right.
When you understand that relapse is part of the process, you don't shame yourself for it.
Right.
And shame is still a part of that chain. But once you understand that, yes, it happens, but then you can get better, it is possible.
I think what we tend to miss is if it was to happen to your best friend, you would be so kind.
Yeah.
If they relapse, you say, oh, I understand, don't worry, that shit happens. Tomorrow we'll try again. And you would be there for them.
Yeah.
If you can be there for your best friend, why can't you be there for yourself?
Yeah.
Fair enough. I think my biggest take of this would be the fact that with everything going on and being said about depression, I still feel that it is, again, very possible for you to take the reins and control yourself. It is something that's very much in your control. And we here at That's So Bro very strongly believe in not my monkey, not my circus. But this is something that is my monkey, and therefore it is a part of my circus. And so you have an absolute control and power to take control of this situation and change it for the better, or for the worse, but for the better. Nobody's saying it's easy. Nobody's saying that it's near impossible to pull yourself when everybody else expects you to fail, but you can do it. We are living examples of it. There are much better living examples of it. If all of us can do it, and we're no different from you, if all of us can do it, you can too. So if you're going through an episode where you feel depressed, please call the numbers Reshalees mentioned. We'll mention once again.
Yes. So NIMH is 1926. The CCC line is 1333. Sumitrayo is 2682535.
Right. With that, I think we will.
We have to ask
talk
Satish
about
if
one
he
more thing.
found the quote.
Satish, did you find the quote?
The worst fact check boy in the history of
Today
fact
will be
check.
the last day you hear of Satish.
And with that, Amanda, I want to end this. That's so bro.
විතර 80 90 ඉපදිච්ච ගොඩක් ඉන්නවා මන් දන්නවා එකඟයි ඔබලා අපි ලෝකෙ බේරගන්න එහෙම කැපකිරීමක් කරපු මිනිස්සු
අපේ මෝඩකම් වලට එරෙහිව වාර්ෂික වෙල්ලවන කොමඩි ප්‍රහාර මෝඩ අභිමානය 4.0 ලෝකෙටම එකයි අවුරුද්දටම එක දවසයි මිස් වෙච්ච අයයන් ඔන්ලයින් බලන්න slvlog.lk වෙබ් අඩවියට පිවිසෙන්න